everyone. I am Mitchriz. Yes, I sometimes set world records. Sometimes just personal best. That's good enough. That's fine. But yeah, I'm going to be running Sekiro all bosses and mini bosses glitchless. That was a really long title, so I just put it as all bosses glitchless. Hopefully you guys understand. There will also be mini bosses in there as well. And joining me, I have my lovely commentators, starting with...
Hello, I am Chris. I am also a Sekiro, a little bit of speedrunning, but mostly, you know, all Souls stuff like Elden Ring and whatnot. I've watched probably more of this run than I have played Sekiro, so there's a lot of watching. But go ahead, Aggie.
Hello, I am LilAggy. I used to be good at this game once upon a time, but yeah, I do a bunch of Souls challenge runs, speed runs, Illus runs, stuff like that.
Hi, I'm parkenharbor. I also speedrun Sekiro, all thanks to Mitch. Mitch is like, I'm like #1 Mitch fangirl, so that's why I'm here.
Yes, so with that, we can go ahead and get this started. Also, it looks like we almost have that inner bosses, so just so you know, that would add on a few extra bosses at the end of the run. The extra hard versions with extra moves that you don't normally even get to see. It got patched in as kind of like a little DLC. So if you want to make this have even more than all of the bosses in the game, definitely make sure to hit that. But let's go ahead and get it started. So I can count us in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Let's go, Mitch.
Let's go.
My go.
All right, as every Sekiro run starts in this sort of tutorial section, the main movement that we're going to be doing is jumping because it's a little faster than walking, and you're not allowed to actually sprint until you get the sword from Kuro. So that is our first order of business. Get the sword, start sprinting, and start going faster. A little skip over this shimmy section, and then I'm going to try to go directly to Kuro's tower. And hopefully not get shot. We might get shot.
Surely you wouldn't get shot at 82.
That would never happen.
That would be pretty
That's
messed up,
never...
honestly.
Wait, no. Sorry, I can't say that yet.
Oh.
Looks like we're good, though. The last shot always misses, so we're good.
Nice.
Nice.
Woo! Let's go.
RNG down.
I'm proud of you, Mitch.
Thank you. And as far as dialogue goes in this run, as long as we have the subtitles off, as long as you get whatever key item you need from dialogue, you can just exit out of the conversation afterwards, and you're totally fine. If the subtitles were on, we would have had to mash for like 5 extra seconds there, so very important that the subtitles are off in this run. And we already come up to our very first boss here, so I'm going to let them take it away while I concentrate on winning this fight.
Yeah, so this is good old leader Shigenori Yamauchi. Yeah, he's a tutorial guy. He dies in like 3 hits. So yeah, you press attack, and then once you kind of hear him deflect you deflect him back, and then you stab him, and then he dies.
Yay.
That's about it.
And that's the first one.
Close fight, close fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shows you the very basics of combat. It's all about attacking when it's your turn and then deflecting when it's the enemy's turn. And those deflections will open up more attacks or more opportunities for you to attack. So the game is a very, very back and forth. Eventually, we're going to start breaking that cycle of back and forth and saying, no, it's my turn. Nope, it's still my turn. Actually, my turn now. But at the start of the run, the enemies do get some attacks on us. This tutorial boss here, Genichiro, is a scripted loss. So even though you could deplete his health to 0, we don't count it as a boss for this run, just so that new runners can actually do runs. Because if you started out and you had to beat this guy on your first try, it would be really tough. So scripted loss, it would be really unfriendly to new runners. We decided doesn't count.
It also doesn't change anything at all. So.
It doesn't change anything. You don't get any rewards. The only thing is the cutscene at the end changes slightly. It's like, instead of him immediately defeating you, it's like you get like 1 attack in and then he cheats and beats you anyway. All right, so we are coming up, we are gonna get a couple of prosthetics in this run. The first one is the Shuriken.
No.
The name was escaping me. I was like, it's a thing you throw.
He was close, yeah.
Yeah, the Shuriken wheel. And then we're coming up already on our next boss. We're going to show off a technique called dead angles. These are specifically turnaround dead angles. I will let Aggie explain them as I do them here.
Yeah, so basically enemies in this game will only block your attack if your attack is actually aimed at them. But what you can do is you can start your attack facing away from them, and then at the last second just turn around in a complete 180 and hit them anyway with it. And we were struggling a little bit with this tech. It is a little bit tricky to pull off, but Yeah, there you go. Basically, you can trick him into not blocking your attack, so you can just hit him over and over and over again.
Yeah, apparently I've been told it is a 2-frame window at 60 frames per second to turn around at the right time. So it is a little precise. Luckily, the timing is the same on every boss that we're going to do. So once you learn it once, you can kind of apply it everywhere. But yeah, it is technically a little tricky, especially on a setup I'm not, 100% familiar with. Although I'm going to try not to give too many excuses, but I'll probably lock into it as we get later into the run.
Yeah, and coming up we have Chained Ogre running up with the Gachin to get this sneaky death blow to take out the first phase. And this whole fight is basically just attacking the Ogre while circling around him to dodge his attacks while just maintaining as much damage as possible. There's really only like one quick grab attack you gotta look out for, but after enough hits you'll flinch. That's the grab attack, the fast one there.
Yeah, whenever you see the red symbol like that, that means the enemy's either doing a grab attack, which you cannot deflect, or a sweep attack, which means you have to jump it.
Or a thrust attack, which
Or
you
a thrust
Mikiri
attack,
counter.
yes. Which you can deflect those, but yeah, you shouldn't Mikiri them.
All right, not a bad fight there.
And that is already 3 mini-bosses down, and he's actually running by a 4th mini-boss that's immediately after that one, but we will come back to him later. He's going to grab this idol just to do vary that.
Yeah, the reason we come back later isn't just because it would be faster to take him out later. If that was the only reason, we might try to find a way to fight him now. But we have to come back later anyway for a headless because we do not have the resources. There's no way we could defeat a headless right now. So since we have to come back later, we might as well take him out later when we're stronger.
Yeah. And just to give some context over the whole structure of the run and everything we're going to accomplish, there's 50... Is that right?
50.
Total bosses and mini-bosses. I think it's 15 bosses, 35 mini-bosses. So we are, 5 minutes in and we're already 3 down. So not bad.
I like the little shimmy.
It'll only get faster. Yeah. It'll only get faster from here.
Yeah, that shimmy is actually faster if you tap the button instead of holding it. So that's a nice little speed tech there. There's also some skips there that you could do, but they're not really marathon safe. So we shimmy.
And here we're coming up on the first actual boss. This is going to be Gyobu Masataka Oniwa, everyone's favorite. This is actually maybe the most complicated fight in this run, at least in terms of optimizing it super, super well. There's a lot of cool tricks you can do to speed this along. So, Parky, I know this is your favorite boss, so you can explain this one once we get in there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly how many layers of this Mitch is going to be applying here, but yeah, I'll try and explain as we go. So Mitch is going to run up to this boss here, get 6 hits on him, ideally. And then Gyobu is going to run away, and then Mitch is going to try and get a perfect deflect here. There we go, and stop Gyobu from running. And basically, you attack when it's time to attack, and you deflect when it's time to deflect. But Gyobu's got this crazy thing where if you hit him 9 times, he'll stagger like that. And you want to time that perfectly, which Mitch just did, so that by the time he staggers, his posture meter is full, and then it's time for the phase 2, and he has no more health left and all that. And so he runs, and that was perfectly set up there. It's basically the same in the phase 2. And Mitch likes to wing those timings, and he's obviously pretty good at it, so I'm not sure if Mitch is really counting here. But he's just got the intuition for it. He does this fight based on vibes.
Parky is the ultimate judger of Gyobu fights. If you do one thing remotely differently from her, she'll be like, well, that was okay.
Aggie is just a really old school Sekiro runner.
Okay, she's calling me bad. She's trying to,
No, that was beautifully done, Mitch.
Yeah.
Gyobu is the onion boss. Everyone likes to say he's like an onion because he's got a lot of layers.
Many layers.
Many layers. Yeah, that one, we did get like the worst attack where he's guaranteed to run afterwards, but luckily it was right as I was going to stagger him anyway, so it didn't end up too bad.
Yeah, and here we're doing a little bit of dialogue. That's basically the Sekiro version of Batman. He gives you a little side quest to do, but you can just say, nah, I'm good. And that's fine. That'll progress the game just the same as actually doing a side quest. So you just have to talk to him and say no. And then also doing a little bit of shopping there, we bought the Robert's Firecrackers for probably the most generally useful prosthetic tool in the game.
Yeah, for speedruns, it has so many purposes. For some bosses, it just instantly deals with them. For other bosses, it just makes it a lot more consistent or a bit faster.
Then we get our first remnant applied there. That is just a general attack up. So obviously we want to apply those pretty much as often as possible because more damage, faster fights.
Yeah, there's no traditional stats, no strength, dexterity, anything like that. So your attack power is purely determined by the number of bosses that you kill, and you get their memories, and that increases your attack power. So very important that we do that. The whole kind of route is built around get all the memories as fast as possible, then clean up the mini bosses that don't give us an increase in attack power.
And speaking of mini bosses, we've got the Raging Bull next.
Everyone's favorite boss.
Yeah, a bit of a controversial mini boss. This guy basically chip damages you even if you perfectly deflect his attacks. So
Nice
you
opener.
will literally like guarantee a die at some point if you don't kill him quick enough. But luckily Mitch is going to kill him pretty darn quickly here.
There's a great opener for Bull. As you can see, you keep stunning him. It's just so fast. Not the best RNG, but that
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Oh, not doing the spike though?
You can't after a deflect. If you finish off his posture with a deflect, you cannot stop him.
You learn something every day?
Yeah. Usually you do not finish him with a deflect, but I got some weird attacks.
And
so.
here he's idling, which using the homeward idle will warp you. You can go to the starting area, or you can warp back to your last used idle. But for some reason, as soon as you finish this bullfight, it'll load the next. Oh wait, you went
It
back.
would, yeah. You could do that. And we are going to warp
Different
back
route,
to
my
the next
bad.
idol, even though I never grabbed it. I didn't grab the idol after Bull. You get it automatically
Very good
unlocked. But right now, I'm going to equip the prosthetics. This is a safety strat. It's not done in the world record. But the reason to equip them right now, even though I'm not going to use them for a while, is because you cannot start gathering spirit emblems until you have a way to spend them. So by equipping them now, I have a way to spend emblems, and I start to pick them up, like right there. There were just 2 chilling there. So I'm going to get more spirit emblems throughout the run, and so that's going to mean that if I happen to die or have to redo something or spend extra spirit emblems, we're not going to run out. The world record ends with like 10 extra at the end, which, to give you an idea, you can have 20 max at one time, so ends with half of 1 extra attempt at a boss. So that's not enough for a marathon, so we grab it early.
Yeah.
I'm also going to be spending some money on spirit emblems to make sure we have like way more than enough. There should be no way that we soft lock ourselves out of this run. Lone Shadow is an interesting one with dead angles. I'm going to try to push him into the corner, but it's a bit tricky, so we'll see if I can get it.
Yes,
cool
this is
dead
going to
angling.
do a bit more of a traditional style of dead angling, where instead of doing the 180s, you're kind of just doing glancing blows at him back and forth and just kind of wiggling him into the corner. He's being a little difficult, so we're going to go to the other corner now. Okay, we got the combo attack, which is still not so bad. Okay.
Maybe
that one's a
Not
little bad.
behaving.
Okay, that's fine, that's fine.
Still nicely done, Mitch.
Yeah.
Very good.
Mitch, you are absolutely flying through these bosses, but can I share a critical update?
Yes, please.
We are just $1,300 away from that extra inner boss's incentive. I want to know which lovely donor is going to be the one to put us over the top.
Ooh, we are so close, and you are not gonna want to miss it because those bosses are incredibly difficult. Like, even if you have been running this game for a long time, the extra attacks that they have some of them are so hard to deal with that, I might die, but hopefully not fully.
Nah, I'll be fine.
He's
fine,
just a
we'll be fine.
showman. He's playing it up.
But yeah, they're super tough versions of the bosses, and so I would love to show that off. So
Yeah, they are very cool.
If you have a moment, I'd love to share some of the support that is getting us there.
yes, please.
Absolutely. I have $20 from Ben SKG who says, is it an idol? Is it a bonfire? No, it's Mitchriz. Good luck with the run, Mitch. I also have $100 here from Kyle Brazown who says, shout out to 4 of my favorite Soul streamers. Let's go, Mitch.
How sweet. Let's go, Mitch.
So nice.
Uh-oh.
Well, Mitch?
I'm dead. I guess the run is over. I guess there's nothing I can do unless shadows die twice.
Whoa.
You really sold that bitch, Mitch.
Yeah.
That bit, Mitch.
Yeah, don't combine those
No.
two words.
I would never.
But this is just another sort of dead angling fight. As
Yep.
you can tell, I'm doing the 180s. Besides the death, pretty nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Besides the part where you just died, you know,
Yeah.
that was pretty clean.
Yeah, the goal of that fight is to push her towards the fog wall, which I did a good job of that. Too good of a job, because the secondary goal is to keep her back towards the wall so that she can't like back away from you and make your attacks miss. I did not do a good job of that. She backed away from my attack and hit me immediately and punished me. So it is what it is. As long as we don't die multiple times, it's really not a big deal.
Surely that won't happen.
Surely. That would never happen.
Chicken.
Surely you don't die.
Not the chicken. The notorious run-killing chicken.
I have died to that chicken many times.
No
More dangerous
way.
than you would think.
Yeah, you
You're
can.
a lot more dangerous than you would think.
Yeah. If you go there with 1 pixel of health, he kills you.
Yeah.
I always slice in the air when I jump there.
That's a time loss.
Yeah, time
Oh,
loss.
well.
Can't do that.
Better than
Anyway,
dying.
we have a great little skip here. This is the tree skip. A lot of people do this on their casual playthroughs too.
You can do this one at home.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we have the hardest boss in the game.
The absolute hardest.
infamous Miss Noble.
I'm gonna need to concentrate. I need to get all 5 attacks here. Then I'm gonna need to take the 1, 2, 3, go to the side of it, hit him one more time, and
Nice.
oh my god, we did it! Woo!
You kind of feel bad for that guy.
Hey, Mitch, what's your favorite inner boss?
Ooh, it's gotta be Inner Father for sure.
Well, you're gonna be seeing Inner Father and all of the inner bosses because we met that incentive. We have, I think this was the one that did it, a very apt $10 anonymous donation simply saying more bosses? Yes, please.
Yes. All right, awesome. Yeah, those bosses are gonna be a lot of fun, and now I get to mentally prepare for doing them later. So, thank you for adding that stress to my plate nice and early. But all right, there is a little skip coming up here as we get towards the monk. This run is glitchless, but not entirely skipless. It's just a little way to skip like going through a doorway. We'll see if I can get it. It's a bit tricky. I have to do a wall jump, which are notoriously inconsistent in Sekiro. Got it. There it is.
Nice.
I've never seen Mitch mess that up.
You saw it in the practice room like an hour ago.
I'm trying to make you look good here, Mitch.
But yeah, that is just to get the 5 divine confetti that we're going to need for a bunch of spirit bosses that are very weak to divine confetti. So,
And speaking of totally not glitching in our glitchless path,
not at all. We would never.
we're going to do a alternative strategy here where we use snap seeds as we approach from the side of the arena here. And basically the corrupted monk does not know we're here, even though we're literally throwing pocket sand at it over and over. And
Nice.
no.
Yep.
That's way harder than it looks, by the way.
Yeah, it's pretty
Mitch made that look
precise.
really easy.
Yeah, so the world record uses 4 ash to just barely get her back far enough. Your average runner probably uses 5 ash. Some people might go 6 for safety. But yeah, I did that with 4. So
Yeah,
that
no big
was-
deal.
No big deal.
Might work.
He's just that guy.
Yeah, I do have a backup if that had failed. I wasn't risking the entire run on it because firecrackers can be a backup if you don't quite get it, but luckily got it.
Didn't need it.
Yeah.
You could totally just fight the boss too, right, Mitch?
You can.
Yeah.
I can. I have done that as a backup before. It costs about 3 minutes. So I would not recommend it because we are very low attack power right now. But we're getting a little more. So the reason we come down to this boss first is because we are allowed to do that instant kill. It gets us a very quick memory that's going to make the rest of the bosses a lot faster. So if you were doing it casually, this might be one that you do maybe 2 or 3 bosses in the future, but we rush to it because it can get us that early memory. All right, heading up to Genichiro, there is another skip that we're going to do, the front side dojo skip. Just skips walking through the entire dojo section of the castle. It's a little tricky and looks a little interesting. It kind of looks like we're jumping off of the air, but really we are jumping off of the wall that just extends a bit further out than it looks. Also, hi, Woo Guy. Woo. Woo.
That's what it looks like if you don't know.
That- that's what
But
you-
now, if you're Mitchriz, you can just do that.
Even a second try, that skip still saves a good bit of time, so worth going for even if it's a little tricky. All right, now we're gonna stick Genichiro in the corner to do a bunch of dead angles back to back to back to back, because if he's in the corner, as long as we're just still facing slightly away from him, he's not gonna block them. The only exception is on the 5th hit, it would go directly in front of us, so it wouldn't actually hit him. So I'm gonna need to turn towards him on just that 5th hit. There we go. Do that again for a second phase. And you might be wondering, isn't this a glitch? And the answer is no. We call this an AI manipulation because basically...
It's not a glitch because we didn't call it that.
Well,
So,
true. But everything is working as intended from the game, as in they are not supposed to block if you are facing away from them. That is like the game
Still
working.
a little cheesy, but
It's
yeah.
definitely cheesy.
it's not cheeseless.
It's definitely not cheeseless. But because it's not like broken, because he is still attempting to do things, he just can't because we keep hitting him. That is allowed.
Yeah.
Here we just want to get as many lightnings, at least 2. I mean, 2 is really the best you can hope for.
The most you could possibly get is 2.
Maybe
Yeah,
get
We could
3.
maybe get 3,
You
but
cannot, not in this category.
oh,
You
yeah,
could
because you have more damage.
Yeah, we
right,
have
right,
more
right.
There are
damage in this
legends.
category.
Yeah,
The 3rd lightning.
but I got 1 lightning, so
One lightning, totally
Yeah, not bad.
fine.
par for course.
Yeah. As long as you get at least 1, and as long as you don't get his flurry attack, the floating passage, that's a pretty good Genichiro, so we're happy with that.
That was so fast.
Yeah, I'm gonna try a little thing here to try to make the cutscene load in faster. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then jump across the doorway, and didn't quite get it. Slow cutscene.
I've never seen that work in my life. I'll be honest.
I can get it like half the time because another runner, Passiflora, came up with a keyboard setup for me. He doesn't even run on keyboard. I was just telling him I had troubles with it, and he was like, "Oh, I'll find a setup." And
That sounds like
and he
Passy,
did. Yeah. Shout out to Passiflora.
What a guy.
Here we have just a bit of like lore talking to people to progress the story. So
Yeah,
if there's
unimportant.
time, we could have some donations here. We could have just a couple of those.
Absolutely. I have an apt $10 here from Genichiro, who says, I got your arm, Sekiro. I'm sure you wouldn't do a strat to abuse AI and stick me in a door as punishment. I'll call my grandpa if you do.
Oh, that's funny.
I also have $1,500 from the 5th mat.
Let's go back.
They say MSF does such important work now more than ever, so I gotta donate. I'm hyped to see Mitch show off what might be the most interesting Sekiro category aside from KFC %. Now get to work. Thank you so much. That money goes such a long way to supporting Doctors Without Borders humanitarian work.
And shout outs to Matt. He is the modding goat of FromSoft games. He's made like all the randomizers for all the games and many other mods. So he is incredible.
Yep.
And here we are heading to the Shichiman Warrior. This is one of the ones where we really need confetti, and you're going to see why. As I attack him with confetti, it's going to like stagger him, and it's going to stop some terror buildup that he does that would otherwise instantly kill me. So I'm going to try to take him out as quickly as possible with this confetti before it runs out. And I'm also going to try to circle around him so that his attacks miss, similar to the ogre. Yep, there he goes. He's just attacking in the
Nice.
wrong direction. There's the first death blow. Now I have to wait here for him to teleport to the other side of the room.
Yeah, Shichiman will always teleport to the farthest point from where you're at when they do this. So he positions in the right spot to know where he'll always go. And
Yeah, they've got a few spots they can teleport, and they always choose the furthest of those spots from you. So I know exactly where he's going to end up because we always fight him in one spot, and I know where to run for the second.
And there you get the
nice-
ceremonial Tonto, which is, it takes about like half of your health, but gives you 5 emblems in return. So later in the run, when we'll be using a lot of the Mortal Draw to do big damage, that uses emblems to empower the damage. So the Tonto, very nice to have for the run.
Yeah, and most importantly, it creates the emblems, and it gives you extra possible emblems for you to use. So in this run, we're gonna max out at 20 emblems. Right now, I only have 15. But with the Tonto, I could get up to 25 total emblems that I could use. And then even in the middle of the fight, let's say I'm down to only 3 left, I could use the Tonto again and go back up to 8. So very powerful for getting a lot of our mortal draws, firecrackers, and other things that spend emblems. Here we have to just wait for the elevator. It is a bit of a running section now, so we probably could have a few more donations.
Absolutely. I have $15 here from Jawad who says, happy to see Sekiro, all bosses and mini bosses on a GDQ main event, and who better to perform the run than Mitch, an absolute legend and all-around nice streamer. Now let's get that inner boss's incentive met while helping Doctors Without Borders provide much-needed support to people in need. It is thanks to donations like yours that we will be torturing Mitch with those inner bosses.
It's a fun torture. That's
I trust that, yeah.
It's a fun torture.
Yeah.
Wait, if you're into that.
No, but it should be really fun. Time for probably maybe 2 more donations.
Absolutely. How about $500 from Jedi Sandwich?
Woo!
They say, had to donate for my favorite game this year at GDQ. What an awesome runner and couch combo. Good luck on the rest of the run. Less than 3.
Oh, thank you.
And one real quick one, $1,000 from Ishwan. Ishwan says, all bosses runs for life.
Yes. All right, we are coming up on the Armored Warrior, affectionately called Roberto, and you will hear why at the end of the fight. But I'll let them explain how I'm going to fight him here.
Yeah, so basically this boss is a bit of a gimmick where instead of a death blow killing him like any other boss in the game, you have to shove him off the ledge. And the way you do that is by death blowing him and shoving him in the right direction once you build up his posture meter here. So this is like a pseudo-scripted fight. He almost always does this kind of combination of attacks. And then, yeah, you can kind of just bait him over to the ledge and pop him off. And...
Listening? I love that.
It's a satisfying fight in the speedrun. I love like watching that one and doing it.
Yeah, it's really cool, especially with the firecrackers. You can always get a couple of hits on him at the start that'll make him a lot more consistent. In some other categories where you don't have firecrackers, the beginning can be a bit of a mess, so I'm glad we have them in this category.
So we are making our way over to everyone's favorite boss in the game. The monkeys.
Monkey.
The best boss in the game.
They're not bad, come on.
It's a puzzle boss, but it's not a fun puzzle. I don't know how to say that nicely.
It's a great puzzle if you have the sugar that makes you invisible so they can't see you.
Yeah.
The real boss
puzzle
is
solution.
getting through this door without...
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
Mitch has a hard time doing it.
Let's see, it's just random if they're gonna attack right as
they're
I...
not near you.
I think he's good.
Wow, very impressive,
Well
Mitch.
done.
Well done, well done.
Mitch did die an hour before showcasing this to that door, so that's good.
Look, it was only once. Shadows died twice. It's fine. It's fine.
So yeah, basically the way this fight works is there's 4 different colored monkeys and they have different gimmicks. They all just run away from you and you have to use different kind of tools throughout the level to stun them and trap them. Or you can just stealth yourself and run up to every monkey.
Yeah,
one
brute
by
force
one.
it, yeah.
And they don't really do much.
To be
So that's what we're gonna do.
they do run. Like if you just tried this, it's a little harder than it looks, but yeah. I
If you're like
mean,
half a second slower in some areas, they'll run away and
Yeah.
just cause a whole problem.
Yeah, like those 2 monkeys both noticed me and then they were about to run away. And this one turned yellow aggro, which is the like half noticing, so he was about to turn around if I had not gotten the death blow.
And then ring the bell for luck, of course.
Nice.
Of course, you gotta ring the bell for luck. If you do not ring the bell, you can't get world record. It's not gonna happen.
Yep. And now we get the most overpowered thing in the game. So this is where we get the Mortal Blade, which is the red blade that goes on his back. And basically this has a special attack associated with it called the Mortal Draw, which just does a ton of damage. And it's not a glitch per se, but there's an interesting interaction with it where if you use it mid-air, it does even more damage than it's supposed to. So we'll be doing that pretty much at all times from this point forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. It was actually patched into the game. It used to do the same amount whether it was in the air or standing, and then they patched the game, and now it does more while in the air. Not sure why.
I don't know how they did
I don't know
that, but, you know.
what was. It's already very powerful
They snuck
without
it in
that.
there.
So
Maybe they're just like, do the speedruns on current patch.
yes, and we do now. I think I think every speedrun aside from No Air Swim, which is a bit of a silly category, is done on current patch. All right, so let me show you the power of this mid-air Mortal Draw. And there was the first phase.
You know.
And for the second phase, I'll just do a mid-air mortal draw, and he's dead. There you go.
Very nice.
Yeah, it feels like most bosses going forward now are like, don't blink or you'll just miss the whole thing.
Yeah, that is the new bread and butter technique.
Just jump
for
onto the
most
general
bosses.
can be a little tricky. Nice.
Got him.
Nice.
And now I need to take all of these guys out while hitting him also with the mortal draw. I think I missed one or two. Hopefully they don't shoot me. Oh, definitely doesn't sweep me either. Oh. That's okay.
All right.
Good little improv.
Yeah. Okay, one gunner left, so I'm just gonna go behind the wall before I idle out.
Surely he wouldn't run
He
around
never
the corner
does. He
and then
doesn't.
shoot you.
Gosh, this game has the longest phase outs when you teleport
Yeah.
away. The screen could be black and you can still get hit by an enemy.
Yep.
I think it's an 8-second animation. Is that right?
8 seconds is, how much speedrun time it takes.
Oh my gosh, it feels like longer even.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Honestly, I like it as a nice solution, a nice middle ground between Homeward Bones, which is like instant and you keep everything, and like something like a Memory of Grace in Elden Ring, where it's pretty much instant, but you lose everything. It's instead you keep everything, but you'd better be out of combat, because otherwise you are not going to be able to teleport away.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, we are heading to the gun fort, which is another little bit of a running section, so probably time for a few donations.
Amazing. I want to let the good people of Minneapolis and Twitch chat know that we have just opened an incentive for our upcoming Quake 64 run that is a category upgrade to Easy All Secrets. We need to hit that by the start of the Quake run, and it is set at $15,000 to Doctors Without Borders. So chat, I need you to learn from Mitchriz here and fly through this. I also want to point out that we are almost at 150,000 total raised for Doctors Without Borders. So as you are getting those donations in and putting them towards that Easy All Secrets incentive, we will be able to pop off about that so soon.
All right, the strategy here for this Snake Eyes is a little particular. I have to hide until she turns, because she's startled by the sound of a different gunner, then get the stealth death blow, and then it's going to be some more, you guessed it, jumping mortal draws. A little twist on these, I'm actually dead angling the mortal draws. So I'm actually trying to make sure that I do it while facing away from her,
Nice.
and that does a bit more damage. All right, not too bad of a fight there, not exactly how I want it to go. We're a little low health, which is not good for this section because there's a bunch of snipers that are going to try to shoot me. If even one hits me, I'm probably going to die and fall into the void, but
Ooh, taking the risky path.
you got to take the risky path.
I think
It's
it'll be
like the only-
fine.
Maybe I shouldn't have taken the risky
Yeah,
path.
gotta take the risky path.
You gotta take
okay,
the risky
risky path like doesn't really work out. I'll be honest.
I love how when Wolf gets shot midair, he's just like, it's over.
Yeah, luckily I grabbed a safety idol right before here, so it's just a little bit of a run back. Not too bad, but hopefully...
Surely we won't die again.
Yeah, surely we won't get stuck here for 10 minutes just getting shot over and over.
Yeah, this area is like just really RNG. There's very little you can do. You can use a gotchi, and the gotchis don't even help. Nothing helps.
All right, I'll try to take the safer... This is what I get for taking the safe path. That's all I'm... No!
Oh my god, I love fun for it.
That is the safer path, by the way. Doesn't matter how you do it, you're going to get shot sometimes.
It literally doesn't matter how you do it. You die anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, surely this.
Sure times the char, you know.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, when I said surely the first time, I actually did not think you'd die again.
Parky's cursing my run.
Classic.
All right, I'm going to go risky again. This time it works. This time.
Yeah.
You gotta mix it up.
You should do the zigzags. I'm a big believer in the zigzags.
Nah.
Yeah. Oh.
Nice.
We're
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
Nice.
We're
Good.
We're not entirely clear yet. There's a few more people shooting at me, but
Okay, you're good
now
now.
we're
You're
clear.
good, you're
Now
good.
we're clear. All right.
That was spooky.
Yeah. This one is Parky's favorite boss, so I'd love for her to explain
Oh
this
my
strategy.
gosh. This boss fight, okay, so Mitch is basically just gonna like do the deflect thing that you always do during casual runs. And then he's going to dodge through that so that he can Mortal Draw here. And then he's just going to jump Mortal Draw phase 2. But let me tell you guys, the reason why Mitch said that is because this is my run killer. I don't know why. I feel like the timing on the dodge through is so tight. But
It's really not.
No one else in the world has that
bad.
problem, I
It's a
guess.
Parky exclusive issue.
Yeah. And here we are on a tiny sliver of health. And we're going to drop into water, taking fall damage. But luckily, you cannot die to fall damage unless you get a full splat. And that is just below the height threshold to do the splat. If we actually jumped from there, we would have probably splatted instead. So,
Never go full splat.
What?
yeah. And if you splat, we actually just would have died. And on a splat, you don't even get a revive. So you're not even like at the bottom revive. You're like full dead, and we'd have to go back through the gun fort again.
Oh, not the gun.
That sounds like a pretty good time to me. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds great. Because of the gun fort being a bit of a meme here, I think I will take the safety idol before Guardian Ape.
Yeah.
Usually I wouldn't take it, but I don't want to go through the gun fort again just in case.
Worth.
Yep.
Gun fort 4 times in a row would be crazy.
Oh.
The world record for most gun forts in a run.
Yeah, so Guardian Ape coming up here, one of the more infamous bosses from this game for sure. We have a stun lock for the first phase, where basically if you time your hits just right, you're kind of getting mini staggers at just the right timing so that he just gets mini staggered over and over and over again. So he's not going to be able to do anything for this first phase. So these initial mortal draws, yeah.
And actually
Stagger,
in this
and then-
phase we have so much damage.
Yeah.
Even
I
these
forgot
have-
that. Yeah.
As long
That
as
works
you,
too.
as long as you hit him in the head, he takes extra damage. So basically, we stack a bunch of percent increases in damage. Yash is 25% extra. Jumping does 50% extra on Mortal Draw. Hitting him in the head, I think, does double damage. You put that all together, it's a lot of extra
we
damage.
win, Mitch.
We won. We did
Congratulations.
it.
Nice
Oh,
fight.
good fight.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
What?
Oh,
Not the best RNG.
oh,
Oh, the screen
terrible
when he's
RNG.
facing away.
Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, despite him not having a head anymore, or at least not one that's attached, you can still headshot his...
He
Which
still
I'm gonna
has the
try
hurt
first
box
here.
there.
yeah.
Yeah, there we go. That was some good damage.
Not too
All
bad.
right,
Good enough,
nice,
good enough.
nice.
Yeah, so
that-
when he does that big attack and he like attacks down at you, he'll stagger himself forward, and if you just jump in place, you will hit where his head used to be. It still has a hitbox, and he still takes like double damage from it. So it's a little silly. You hit the headless stump, and does a ton of damage.
Can I jump in with a quick update?
Absolutely.
All right, we are well on our way. We have already, in just the few precious moments, raised our first $375 towards that easy all secrets run. But chat, I'm gonna level with you. I think Mitch is going faster than you right now. I also want to point out that we have raised so far about $10,500 from our new Twitch extension, letting you donate to MSF without leaving the page. Can we maybe see 15K on that extension before the end of the run, as well as 15K towards Quake?
Yeah.
All right.
I think we can.
I think we can. Coming up on the 7 spears here, it's a fairly basic strat. We use an Akko sugar to increase our damage, take the death blow, and then guess what we're gonna do next?
Jump Mortal Draw.
You were right.
Yippee.
This was a really hard
Very
boss
nice
on my
setup.
first
I
playthrough.
hated this in my first playthrough. All the ads and all the enemies
Yeah,
hitting you during it.
It's brutal.
Yeah, but I mean, they all forgot about me, so what enemies? I don't see any. As long as you take that kind of side path there, the enemies just don't really see you. As long as you take out, there's just one guy who has a gong who would alert everyone. As long as you don't let him ring the gong and you take that side path, it's pretty free. You get to fight him alone.
I feel like the important thing to keep in mind with a lot of these fights is that Mitch is, in fact, leading them, but they go sideways surprisingly quickly if you mess up
Yeah.
at all. Like, if they get a block when you're trying to dead angle them, they will counterattack you hard. But now we're making our way up to the top of the Ashina Castle once again. This is where the Shura ending would take place if we were going that route, but that removes like half the bosses from the game, so we're not going to do that. So instead, yeah, we'll be fighting Owl at the top, and yeah, it'll be a pretty similar strategy to what we did with old Genichiro, because it's in the exact same arena.
Yeah, we actually use the other side of the door, just based on like their hitboxes and things like that. It just works out better. But interesting that each side of the door is used for one of the bosses at the top of the castle. Make sure to select the correct option here. Don't do the Shura ending. Okay, good.
That's actually happened to me before.
Yeah.
Ooh, perfect move.
Nice.
Yeah, that was good.
Slides right in there.
Not a glitch, by the way.
Not a glitch, yeah. AI manipulation. Also lucky that his model is big enough, a lot larger than Genichiro's, so I don't have to turn towards him on the 5th hit. I can just keep attacking forward.
Yeah.
One super minor thing here is I'm actually not spamming the attack button. I'm clicking it once per attack. The reason for that is because if you spam it, you might get a partial thrust attack, which would slow down your attack combo, because he would start to go into the thrusting animation if you happen to accidentally hold that attack button for a little bit. So instead, just doing one attack each prevents that from happening as often.
I've never heard of that in my life, but you know, I'll take your word.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
It's like one of those super tiny things that nobody notices. But Holm, shout out to Holm, the knower of everything, yeah, found that it was, you know, a few frames faster on a fight on average or something.
Interesting. And yeah, very nice owl fight.
Yeah, that was definitely good. Here, I'm going to level up skills for the second time, and we're finally going to get the skill that most people would probably get as their very first skill in the game, Mikiri Counter. This is specifically to counter thrust attacks. It's super powerful at that, but turns out we actually didn't fight enemies that had thrust attacks up till now, so we just didn't get it till now. But we are going to fight a few coming up, so better to level it. And we've got some dialogue, and dialogue means time maybe for some donations.
Absolutely. I've got $25 here from Wigtall, who says, big thanks to Mitchriz and the whole couch for the beautiful run. Much love to you all. Let's rack up those donations. And I agree wholeheartedly. Chat, I don't think I stressed this enough. Mitch's bio is I set world records. If you want to see the Quake 64 upgrade, now is the time to donate. I have $25 here from Casserole, who said, heard Mitch was too fast, had to donate again.
All right, I actually, funny enough, not hearing the dialogue and there's no subtitles, I actually made a mistake in my in my mashing, but it's fine. We're salvaged now.
Also got to do a little bit of eavesdropping here so that we get the dialogue showing up later. So that leads to the second Harada estate memory.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we going next, Ben?
Next, we are heading up into the Fountainhead Palace, a very beautiful spot. Also, I think in looking at the idols that I had here, I think I might be missing an important one for later. But that's something we'll figure out.
It's a later problem.
That's a later problem. But yeah, heading up into the Fountainhead Palace, we've got the true version of the Corrupted Monk. It just says Corrupted Monk again, but the previous one was kind of a phantom, so this is the true one.
Yeah.
And I've got
And this fight has some cool strategies, as you'll see in this phase 1. Drop down with some jump mortal draws. I mean, that's nothing too crazy, but weaving them throughout this fight, because as you can tell, True Monk is very tanky. Lots of health to go through, jumps through the attacks to get the death blow, and that's just one of the 3 phases. Fortunately, there's a little technique we can do on this second phase, which is jumping up to the tree and then taking a death blow right as she spawns back in.
And that one's actually intended, and the reason that it works on the other monk is because you're supposed to do it there, but you can do it on the other one too.
Yeah.
And then the totally unique phase 3 here. We've got a unique opener. You've got to deflect this. She will not stop doing it. And then just finish it up.
I love the scream she does.
There we go.
It's a really
Very
cool
clean fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting script that I kind of adapted from the world record. The world record forces her to block you so that she'll attack you back faster. But sometimes she just doesn't block you, or sometimes she attacks back so quickly that she just kills you. So I adapted it a little bit where we just wait for her to attack instead of trying to force her, and works out very, very nicely. Here, I'm gonna try to avoid the lightning from Okami Leader. She's supposed to prevent you from like going through this area without going around and dealing with her, but if you dive at the right time there, we should be able to swim right by the lightning. There it is.
Nice.
And just get through.
By all that is holy, I summon fish moly.
We love a good fish moly. I'm gonna have to avoid him by aggroing him and then swimming to the side like this.
Joel.
Fish moly.
All right, and then we are through into the main part of Fountainhead Palace. We're gonna do a few mini bosses here, but not the main boss of Divine Dragon just yet, because as soon as you do Divine Dragon, the world state is going to change by a lot, and it would lock us out of a lot of possible boss fights. So the world state would change, some bosses would disappear, and so that would not be good for our all bosses run. So.
Yeah.
Instead, we're just going to take out some mini bosses here. The reason we take out these mini bosses right now, as opposed to maybe coming back later when we're even stronger, is because the underwater headless here gives us an infinite use version of the Yashiriku sugar. And so that increases our damage by a lot. And so having infinite uses of more damage is infinitely good. You do the math.
Indeed.
It does cost some emblems, but we got plenty of those.
Yeah.
Here's a fun little throw the missed the shuriken, but there, it's all right.
Yep.
The boss is very squishy, nice, and goes straight into the next one here. To the headless.
Yep, we dive underwater and then swim down to it. We used a gotching sugar because there's a second headless in the top left of the screen that we don't want to see us. So now we can just fight this one with our confetti.
Dodging the attacks by swimming up. I like this fight.
Yeah, it's a little disorienting in 3D if you're not sure exactly what's going on.
Yeah, it's very unique.
Yeah. All right, got him.
Very
Nice
nice. And there is the Yashiriku Spirit Fall, yeah, just the reusable Yashiriku sugar.
All right, and then we go to the Sakura Bowl, which has, I think, a developer-intended instant kill. I can't think of why it would work if it wasn't developer-intended, but if you use a firecracker while the bull doesn't even notice that you're there, it will instantly freak out and start charging around. And then as long as we do at least one hit, then when it hits the wall, it will immediately have its posture broken. So I'm just gonna collect some items here, let it hit the wall, stomp it down, and there it is.
Very smooth, very smooth.
All right, the next one, I get to see if I actually am missing an idol that I should have. Because we're trying to get to the double ape fight. If I don't have it, the fight is gonna be a lot worse. Because we'll be coming from the wrong direction and they will get to be active immediately, whereas if I get to come from the correct direction, we get to start hitting it right away.
Yeah, you know, I don't think you got that.
I don't think I got that. I think I
Now
might
that you
have
mention
skipped
it.
that one. I did skip that one. So, back up, we're gonna, I can't go to Ashina Castle. We're gonna go to the abandoned dungeon entrance.
Yeah, that works,
Yes,
that works.
that'll work. You're making it up on the fly. This is fine. This is totally fine.
It's a Mitchriz original.
Yeah. It actually, it's an RNG manipulation.
While we are in G-Manip, can I share some love?
Yes, absolutely.
Amazing. I've got $25 here from Curry King, who says, Sekiro was tough. Love to see it getting destroyed. I also have $50 here from Lulu, who says, Sekiro is my favorite game that I'm not good enough to play, but Mitch always has such a welcoming and easygoing energy that watching him makes me want to pick it up again. I hope someday I can be half as skilled as you, Mitch. Good luck, have fun. Thank you so much. And we have passed our first $1,000 towards that Quake 64 upgrade to Easy All Secrets incentive, y'all. We gotta keep them coming, because Mitch is not letting up. He is making up backups on the spot. That is how determined he is to beat you all to the end of this run, Twitch chat. While we move, just a quick update on that incentive. If it gets met, that is an addition of 16 whole minutes of Quake 64 gameplay to our marathon, including the runner Limey showing off a bunch of speed tech not in the base easy run, including a ton of stuff he discovered himself. You want to see this, Twitch chat, gdq.gg/donate or our extension.
So this is the Guardian Ape refight. Normally, he would be approaching from the other side and just kind of getting the drop immediately on the Guardian Ape. You don't get an instant death blow, but it just gives you a little more time to
Okay,
get
the strat
situated.
worked out just fine.
Yeah.
Turns out it was not.
Yeah.
It was fine.
But this is supposed to be a duo fight. There's a
there's
second ape over there. Hi. But we kind of
vibing.
just took it out so quickly, the other ape didn't have a chance to do anything, which is very lucky, because this can be the hardest fight in the game, at least, you know, for some people.
Do you want to get the idol anyway, because you have to come back?
Yes, I do want to get the idol anyway, so I guess I didn't need this one.
Surely the ape doesn't come back again.
Not
right?
a third time. But actually, I hope, hopefully it doesn't, because then we'll have more bosses than 50, and I'll be very confused. All right, so grab this one, because we are going to need to come back here actually a couple more times later, but we'll get to that when we get to it. And then we're going to move on and clean up, finally, the general and the headless that we skipped right at the start, right after the chained ogre. We're finally going to come back and take them out. One good thing about coming from this direction as opposed to from the ogre's direction is we are from behind of the general, and hopefully we'll be able to immediately get a death blow. It doesn't always work. It's a little finicky, but most of the time you can just jump from this corner right here.
Oh,
Ooh, nice. Just in time.
Yep.
Is that how that always goes?
No, usually you get a mid-air death blow.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's, wrong guy. That's
Get
not
down,
the
Mr.
President. Yeah, that one's definitely more of an improvise as you go type of a boss than like a set script. Especially with those gunners shooting at you.
Yeah,
Luckily
we
they
hate that
missed.
one in particular.
Yeah. All right, now to our first actual above ground fight with a headless. They are the scary, like very, very scary, not only casually, but also in a speed run, because their attacks are very unpredictable. So I'm going to try to circle around it as much as I can, because just like the chained ogre, if you keep circling around it, it doesn't get as much chance to attack you. If it does start attacking me though, I'm gonna have to deflect it, which means I'm not gonna be able to circle around it anymore. So I'm gonna try to keep circling around it. Okay, good.
Nice.
It attacked in the wrong direction. Keep circling. Okay, there's the first death
Nice.
blow. I'm gonna try to get it to do a grab attack on me by turning around for a second. It did not want to do it. Oh.
Oh.
So yeah, you can see this guy
That's okay, that's okay.
just has unnaturally slow movements.
Yeah.
These guys are so bad. If you've never fought a headless, then you just don't
All right, nice.
understand.
Nice. Got through it.
They are as bad to fight as they look.
Yeah. The main thing is because their attacks are very slow but active, depending on where you are, if you're close to them, their hand will kind of contact you, but if you're far, then their sword will contact you. So it's really hard to tell when it's actually going to hit you to get that perfect deflect. And if you're early and take a block, it's still pretty bad. So you try to time them perfectly, and sometimes it just does not work out. All right, now next we've got a little bit of lore, so probably time for a few donations.
Absolutely. I've got $5 here from Alex and Dad, who ask, how about a $5 donation train to make some waves with that Quake incentive? Hype! And chat, I think Alex and Dad are absolutely on to something. Perhaps at an hour into the run, after the final half an hour left, we've got a race, Mitch. Let's get that $5 donation train up and running when you see a 1 on that timer, friends.
All right, so we're coming up, there's a little more lore, but we're coming up on another underwater headless. And so for this one, I'm actually not going to be using a confetti, the only headless we don't use a confetti on. The underwater ones are actually not that countered by confetti. Instead, they just kind of take normal damage. So it turns out Yashariku Sugar is a little bit better for this one. We used the confetti for the previous one because it died to health damage, but this one's gonna die to posture damage, so Yash ends up a little better.
For those who don't know, as the fight already sucks, can I just let you guys know that this guy has a move where he takes your butt and he puts it in his own butt.
He takes your soul from your butt.
yeah.
He puts it into his butt. Okay, let's be clear.
That one.
Okay.
But luckily you can just kind of circle around him and it'll miss. And there we go.
Very nice.
But not stolen. Nice finish.
Not stolen, I get to keep it. All right, and then the next mini boss is a lone shadow that has a strategy. He can actually use Yashariku Sugar himself, which will lower his own posture. I think it actually doesn't affect his health, but at least his posture. And so I'm gonna try to bait him into using that so that I can take him out faster. So I use Yash to increase my damage. He uses Yash to decrease his posture. It's perfect, and then he should die super quickly. So let's see if as long as I'm far enough away, he should do it. There it is. And as soon as he finishes, I do some dead angle mortal draws, and there he is.
What a team player.
Yeah.
And so coming up here, we have another headless fight, and this one will be a little bit different than the ones we fought so far. So in our glitchless run, as we go through this area, we're kind of loading and deloading this headless, which is pretty unavoidable unless you go out of your way and take time loss to do. Which is just, we just decided in the rules to just allow this to happen because sometimes it's just out of your control and there's nothing you could do. So as you can see, Mitch could even do this fight blindfolded if he wanted to.
Yeah, and actually I think as soon as I lock on, let me just... Actually, I'll just... How are you guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Everyone wave to Mitch.
You guys having a good time back there?
Yeah.
Yeah!
I like that he just kind of wiggles.
Yeah, the wiggle.
I love the
He's here
wiggle.
for the vibes.
Like a little
Yeah. It's a party. Okay, headless.
Yeah, this basically happens while we are talking to Emma. Those couple of times that we progress the lore causes this bug to happen, and so we can't really avoid that. We have to talk to Emma for this run, so this kind of has to happen. And originally we actually had no idea why. It was just happening to runners, and they were getting their runs rejected from glitchless, and that sucked. It was like, oh, you can get, 55 minutes into a run, and your run is rejected. And we had no idea what was going on, so we decided to allow it. And then when we finally discovered what was going on, at that point, what are we going to do? Invalidate the entire leaderboard that had them? So it just kind of stayed. We agree it's a glitch, it's a glitch in glitchless, but for the sake of runners, it kind of just had to stay in the rules.
Everyone was just so heartbroken to remove that.
Yeah.
This is so interactive.
But, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? And now we're heading to the Divine Dragon. We have finally taken out all of the mini bosses that would have gotten deleted as soon as we defeat the Divine Dragon, and so now we can take him out, get the memory, and start working on some more bosses.
Dragon fight, while very cool in a speedrun, has a lot of potential to lose time. So this section can go, hopefully, well. Do your best, Mitch.
Yeah, the first phase shouldn't be too bad, and the second phase is more of random for time loss than it is you die and you have to start the fight over. Although I have died sometimes. Sometimes it's just really weird, so hopefully that won't happen.
It's a very pretty fight, at least.
Yes.
Very cinema.
It'll be pretty. So basically the way this first phase works is there's a bunch of these weird, ugly little dragon dudes, and you have to kill all of the white ones. So you can do some mortal draws to take out some, but the main way to take them out is they're going to eventually summon this giant tree branch, and you can do a unique aerial death blow where you stab one and then sweep it around and one-shot all the other ones. So basically, the trick to doing this efficiently is you want to try to one cycle it with AK, like just use it in one
With one
branch.
tree.
And so yeah, they just kind of spawn over time. So he's gonna wait here until the rest of them spawn before he does the second sweep. Otherwise, he'll have to wait for another tree. Okay.
Maybe I can get them still.
Okay. Okay, I think he's good.
Nice.
All right, still in one
Nice.
cycle.
All right.
Very nice.
Now we got the real dragon fight. So he's going to be trying to go for some hits onto the dragon on top of the lightning deflections. You'll see, well, first you open up the lightning, and then you'll go up into melee range and go for some, as you guessed it, some jump mortal draws to get some damage in.
Yeah, I feel like most people don't realize you actually can hit the dragon
Yeah.
with your sword. You don't have to use the lightning.
That's a pretty good attack.
Oh.
A little
Yeah.
close.
You can't touch the dragon.
You cannot touch the dragon like
touchy.
that. That's okay. We'll take this lightning and try it again. Do not touchy the dragon. Do not touchy the dragon.
All right, pretty
That's
good.
pretty good damage,
That's,
yeah.
that's decent. Unfortunately, our Yash has ran out, so we're going to be a little slower for the rest of this, but should be all right. Good.
Okay, still hit the
Yeah,
threshold
okay.
to
Yeah.
activate the final move.
Oh, he knocked me to like the very edge of the arena. All right, to be safe, I'm just going to heal up just in case.
It's a good idea.
Usually you would actually die on purpose in this phase for speed, but I do not have the ability to die without resetting the fight, so instead I'll do the opposite. I will live. All right, good. That is the final attack that we want to see. As soon as we get through this, we should be set to take him out.
Watching the dodges on
Nice.
this is so cool.
Yeah.
And the Cinema Lightning.
Bam.
Boom.
Cinema.
And as long as you hold forward at the end here, this grapple point will show up. If you actually don't hold forward, you have to just like kind of walk up slowly and get it to eventually appear. So very nice to know that. You can actually influence your direction in the air.
Crisis averted there.
Yep.
But if you thought that fight could go wrong, there's the next fight coming right up.
Oh,
will
the
be
next fight.
Shigekichi of the Red Guard, and he is probably can lose you more time than Dragon if things go wrong. We'll kind of explain it when we get there.
Real quick before we get there, can I jump in with an update?
Yes.
Amazing. We are almost to $2,000 raised out of that $15K for easy all secrets, and our donation train is officially up and running with a $5 donation from Pundurin, who says, "Gosh, I hope I didn't miss the train." I also have $10 here from Suya, who says, "Sekiro all bosses is fun torture. I can see that making a lot of sense after watching Mitch and Aggie doing the Kazan Fists Only run. Bless all these people. They do a great lot of stuff in the Souls community."
All
Yeah,
right.
we like our pain.
Yeah, we do. Sometimes it's fun. Oh,
And speaking of pain,
speaking of, I just got
shot in the butt.
back.
You know.
But it's fine. It's fine.
So yeah, here we got Shigekichi coming up, and we'll do a similar start to the boss fight, going up and from behind and getting a quick death blow. But after that, we're going to bait Shigekichi up out through the front of the gate. Have a shooter guard out from the front here. Take notice to hit those explosive barrels to ignite them, which he misses.
He missed?
But
Okay, he got him
second
eventually.
shot.
and then we have the explosive barrels deal big damage to Shigekichi, which that was good amount of damage. Very nice.
Yeah, the closer he is to those barrels, the more damage the explosion will actually do.
Nice. Okay, that was pretty
That
good.
was overall not bad.
Yeah, there's basically 3 amounts of damage he can take. Well, I guess 4. He can take basically all of his health and damage, where you just do one more mortal draw and he's done. He can take that amount, which was like a medium amount. It helps a lot, but I had to do a few mortal draws at the end. He can take almost nothing, where you basically just have to fight him, and he can take nothing because the gunners can just miss the explosive barrel. So glad that we got the second best. That's not bad.
Yeah. And there you notice that he slurped up a Young Lord's Bell Charm there. That's a very important item. That's very weird that you could just like use the auto loot collect to collect
Yeah.
it. But yeah, that'll give us access to the first Harada Estate memory, which we actually already had the bell charm for the second Harada Estate memory. But yeah, now we have both of them.
Yeah,
so.
usually you would acquire that bell very early in the game, but you do it through dialogue, and dialogue is slow. So if instead you just come back much later when the lady that would give it to you despawns, when NPCs despawn, they just kind of leave their loot behind. So we just got to pick it up instead, much faster.
And here we just get a little sneak peek of Demon, but we come back later. We want to initially trigger the fight to where the health bar appears. Those, as you saw, he was fighting some just random dudes. If you come back again on future attempts, they aren't there and can't interfere with the fight. So that combined with coming back later when you have more memories just makes the fight a lot faster.
Yeah,
and more
trying to fight
consistent.
him with those enemies is a
it's awful.
nightmare. It's so bad. You can just get shot from the back. Sometimes they actually help you. Sometimes they're just shooting the demon, but it is not worth the risk. So, all right, now we're in Harada, which is a very, very early game area. So
Surely you shouldn't mess up this fight.
Surely. But you'll see that even if I get hit by something, it's not going to kill me. Whereas a lot of the late game stuff pretty much one-shots you. That doesn't mean I can't die here, but I shouldn't, hopefully. Maybe.
Good confidence.
We should have put the curses on you again. We saw what happened last time.
I know. But yeah, when we get up to the Shinobi Hunter, this will be, assuming he doesn't like run away or do something weird, this should be the fastest boss kill in the run, even faster than Miss Noble. Blink and you absolutely will miss it, because we simply jump, mortal draw, and jump, mortal draw.
Oh my god.
And there it goes.
You almost feel bad for him.
Almost.
This fight is usually so annoying with all those guys
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
That's crazy that you just kill him like that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a classic early game wall for casual playthroughs.
Yeah, and if you're thinking, oh, the mortal draw must be so overpowered, he kind of just has a little tiny health pool. If you did one Mikiri counter, it would finish him off in a single Mikiri counter as well. So he's just scaled for the early game. The next boss at least has enough health that he's not going to die instantly, and actually has a very cool sneaky strat to get him. But
You get
we'll be coming up
real
on that.
up close and personal with this.
Oh yeah. We'll be coming up on that in just a
Down
second.
right into it.
We also grabbed the hidden temple key that is a required item to access the Lady Butterfly fight after this drunkard coming up. So yeah, this Harada is pretty back to back with the bosses. Well, I guess actually there's kind of the running here. Yep. All right, and here comes the stealthy part. So this drunkard has a bunch of other enemies around, and the intended strat is you actually get an NPC to help you. It's almost like a summon in a Dark Souls or something like that. There he is. Hi, Blue.
My boy Blue.
Bye, Blue. Instead, we are going to just use our stealth sugar and just walk by everything, and then get real up close.
Oh.
Then buff up and then
Just buffing inside the boss, as you do.
then cleave all the enemies that run up to him. Use the firecrackers there to flinch him to get another nice mortal draw combo. Finish off the boss.
That is such a crazy fight from that perspective. If I didn't know better, I would not understand what any of that was.
Yeah. Oh, nice. That guy got out of the way. Sometimes he can stand in the doorway and you have to
That's kind of messed up.
wait.
He wasn't even in your way.
He could have been.
It's like the chicken.
Yeah. All right, Lady Butterfly. We're going to try to do some more of the dead-angled mortal draws because she takes massively reduced damage if she blocks your attacks. So I'm going to try not to let her block them by starting them facing
Nice.
away. Nice.
Nice.
That was great.
And then the second phase has a script, but it's very specific on the timing, so I'll see if I can get it. It's right as she's like raising her legs. All right, have to watch her right now.
Nice.
Got it. And one more. Oh, somehow I didn't.
Oh, I guess she blocked it in time.
I guess so.
Whoa.
I do not want her to sit on the wires, so
All
jump up
right.
and hit her. There we go. Good enough.
That's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
that was good.
Your phase one was too good. They had to
Balance it out.
They had to
yeah.
balance it out.
I think what happened is Mortal Draw actually has multiple hitboxes, and if you're close enough, you hit with all of them. But if you're a little further away, you only hit with the furthest one out. We call it a partial Mortal Draw. In other words, it's just one that does less damage because you're a little far away. So I think that's probably what happened. All right, now we're going to equip the finger whistle. We're never going to use the finger whistle, but I do need to equip it because it's the only way to make one of the Shichiman warriors spawn, the one that gives like the finger whistle upgrade. I guess they don't want him to appear until you know what the finger whistle is. Otherwise, you'd be very confused. What is he giving me? What is this?
Seems like an incredibly unnecessary
I totally agree.
decision, but you know,
it's
fine.
It is what it is. Our final level up gives us a few more maximum spirit emblems, which is going to be really nice for some of the final bosses, as well as mid-air prosthetics. So now I can use those firecrackers while jumping, and as well I can use the shuriken while jumping, and both of those are going to be useful for a few strategies coming up later. But first, we're cleaning up yet another early-ish mini-boss, so if you're betting on it to live for very long, that would not be a good bet.
Mitch, did you say final bosses momentarily?
Maybe? There's a few.
Well, chat, the donation train is rolling, but ask yourself, is this a pace that would make Mitchriz proud? Reflect on that, and gdq.gg/donate or our Twitch extension. We are also under $2,000 to 150K, and I really want to see that this run.
All right, into the next. Lone Shadow has a particular strat. I'm going to try to do it with only mortal draws, but I have to save some spirit emblems, so I can't just like spam it till he's dead. I have to save some, so I get exactly 6 mortal draws to try to do this fight. So I'm going to try to use 3 per phase. 1 here, jump over his attack. 1, dead angle this.
Nice.
Okay, good first phase. Get a little closer to him, dead angle, jump over his attack 1 more time. There we go. Very nice. Yeah, that is one that if it goes sideways, it goes really sideways. So I'm glad that definitely worked out. Although this next boss is even more likely to not go well. In practice, it did not go well, but we'll see how it goes this time. So classic, we start with our stealth. We get 1 free death blow, and then I need to try to separate these 2 mini bosses here. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to run over towards this archer, take him out so he's not going to shoot me. Buff up here.
And hopefully one of the enemies will
Oh
go up
no!
and around.
Oh, they're
they
both going
did
around.
come up. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to try to separate like this.
Ooh, nice. I think the Lone Shadow's still on the right. Yeah.
bro is too big for the staircase.
Oh, he dropped down.
Nice.
There we go.
Okay,
there we go.
that worked out. It's a little scary when they both start running up at you.
Yeah. It's basically a little, freestyle how to get them separated. Usually one will run up the stairs and the other one won't, but yeah, oh well. We managed to separate them. And now on to Father Owl, my personal favorite boss in the game casually. The speedrun, we're gonna try to have him pretty much scripted, and we'll see if it goes the way I'm hoping it does.
A little shuriken there
Love
to just
the
get the
shuriken.
perfect amount of damage so that just a couple
Nice.
deflects there to end the phase one.
Woo. Just barely getting that mortal draw.
Yep.
Very nice.
Go.
Woo,
Nice.
Wasn't quite the perfect version of the fight, but it was sure close enough.
Yeah, could have gone pretty
good.
bad.
Yeah.
So.
All right, yeah, I love the shuriken in the middle there. We have normally one extra emblem, so we figured out that if you use it while in the air, it's just enough damage to save us a couple of hits. because it gets like a counter hit on him as he's trying to do his attack. So it's really cool.
I love when stuff like that just works out.
Yeah.
All right, next one is a Lone Shadow duo. This one is...
Oh boy.
I'm going to try to, once again, dead angle all the mortal draws. And I'm going to try to make sure that my mortal draws hit both of the Lone Shadows so that the second one is not going to interrupt me. This is not always possible. I'm also going to try to use firecrackers, again, to stagger both of them. Not always possible, so we'll see how it goes. Okay,
Nice.
got the
phase
first
one.
one.
Ooh, nice firecracker.
Nicely done.
Nice.
Beautiful, we take those.
That was really clean. That
Yeah,
looked
that was
really
really
easy.
good.
Yeah, when it goes well, it looks easy, but
Yeah.
when it goes poorly, it's
Yeah.
like, oh gosh. Yeah, we are a little low on emblems now going into the next mini boss, but it shouldn't matter. We should have enough at 15. All right, nice, and then do that one more time.
Beautiful.
Excellent.
Nice.
All right, here I'm gonna grab some extra gaching on the way through here. We already have 2 left and only 1 more mini boss that needs it, but you can never have too much, I guess.
Yeah.
And then try to drop down onto this ogre's head.
Number 2. Unlike the last one, we're not going to be circling around this one. Just going to be just doing
What do you
good old
think?
bread
Yeah.
and butter. Yeah.
Take a guess.
And interesting, we do a little aerial attack here because otherwise he would live on 1 health.
Okay.
I would have also loved to get the death blow from behind, but I was scared these guys
Yeah.
were gonna prevent me, so I just,
Better safe than sorry.
Yeah, took the front death
Taking
blow.
the death blow from the back of the ogre is like, I don't know, like a second faster or something like that.
yeah, this one it's only like a second faster. The first ogre, it's like 3 seconds
Yeah,
faster
wait,
because
yeah.
you have to wait for the fog wall. Luckily no fog wall on this one, so it's not too big of a deal. All right, and then for these ones, another duo. It's the
love
end
it.
game. They were just like, just throw duos in, throw duos, trios, make them fight multiple things. But once again, I'm going to try to just take out the main one. We do not need the side one to die, so I'm just going to try to sneak up, buff.
Oh my
And
god, I like
see if
that
I
they
can
don't
get
even notice
Yeah,
you.
they're watching each other's back, but like,
When
not
they
the
weren't watching the
sides.
side. Oh, okay. Ooh. That happens about half the time. You just die there, and that's fine. No!
You were like lunging to the death blow too.
Yeah. You do not half the time die there. That one's a little more rare, but that's okay. We can do it again. That's why I grabbed the extra gaching just in case.
Nice. Good thinking, Mitch.
While we run back, can I share some love from this donation train
Absolutely.
in full swing? Chat, we are making good progress. $2,500 out of $15,000 for that easy all secrets category upgrade. But as a reminder, we need to hit that by the start, not the end, the very start of the Quake 64 run. Mitch is going to fly through these bosses. They are sending 2 at a time, and it is simply not enough. But here is some love from the donation train. I have $5 from Mike Potions. I have $5 from Direware Chicken. I have $5 from Josh Anthony simply saying, hype! I also have $25 5 whole tickets from David Pate saying, a train for some Quake, count me in. And I have $5 here from Campo and Catherine saying, $5 train, go Mitch. Go each and every one of you. I want to see this Quake upgrade.
All right, we're coming up on most people's favorite boss. My second favorite, I still love him. Great boss. One of the hardest bosses I think that FromSoft has ever made, up there, you know, with the likes of the most infamous ones. And we have kind of a script for every phase, but a lot of the script is kind of just fight him for a bit. So we will see how this goes. The first phase is Genichiro for a 3rd time. We've already fought him twice. Get out of here, Geni. And then we get to the real meat of the Ishin fight. So I'm going to start by baiting Genichiro to do a thrust attack by healing here. Nice, and that gets me a guaranteed
Cancel to the
mortal
Mercury
draw.
counter, yeah.
Yep. Nice. Okay, Ishin, I'm going to start with a jumping mortal draw and hopefully not get killed for it.
Oh,
It would appear that you were.
I was in fact killed for it. I should have known. But it's okay. We can just do another one afterwards.
yeah. This first phase is pretty straightforward. You just kind of fight him. I love this little sneaking that little hit there before the
Yeah.
Mercury counter. That's always so
cheeky.
satisfying.
Nice.
I love
First
when you
phase
just
down.
fight the boss. It's so satisfying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
This phase 2 buff up again. Getting some big mortal draws here. Hopefully get some good moves. Nice.
The big combo.
Nice.
Love jumping over that
Nice,
sweep.
yeah.
It's so
Yep.
cool.
And then the last phase, if we get a lightning, should be scripted,
Yeah,
which we did.
yeah, immediately. Very nice.
Yep.
Big
And
damage.
there he
yeah.
is.
Very nice.
All
Now that
that
is the
damage.
final boss of the game, but it's not the final boss of the game.
Yeah.
We've
It's
still
the-
got a few to go.
Yeah, it's the final story boss. This would end the story of the game, but there's a few optional bosses that we skipped. We're going to come back to in just a second. We have one last memory boss as well, which is a major boss, optional memory boss, the Demon of Hatred. A lot of people's least favorite boss. I like it. I think it's pretty fun. It's got
It's fun.
so much health, though, so it is going to be a long fight where at any point he can decide to run away. He can decide to do very weird attacks. He can really troll this one. So hopefully we get it where he will stick around and let us get in some of our normal hits. But if it goes sideways, we're just going to have to improvise.
Yeah, hopefully we won't back hop 5 times in a row.
We have seen, I think I've seen 7 in a row. He just would not stop. He would not. Hopefully that does not happen here.
Speaking of not stopping, the donation train continues moving. $5 from Landscape Goat and $5 from Lordly Hour. Thank you so much, everyone. We have crossed over $3,000 on that Quake 64 upgrade to Easy All Secrets. Keep them coming. I know we can do it.
So this
All
is
right,
a fun
and
boss.
Here we go. Yep.
I like to say this is like a Dark Souls boss in Sekiro.
Why?
Because it's like you fight it like a Dark Souls boss a lot of the time.
It's a little less parry heavy
Yeah, that's
than
fair,
most
yeah.
of them. You can deflect his attacks. All the attacks with the firearm will damage you,
Yeah,
chip you,
it's like
so
the
you don't
bowl.
want to attack them too much. But these foot stomps, yeah, you can deflect that. Yeah, he's got 3 health bars to get through here, so it's quite a bit of mortal drawing necessary. And he also has a few scripted attacks that we have to at least survive.
And during this phase transition, he is immune to damage, so take the time to buff up,
Yep.
but also just gotta wait.
It's a pretty sick fight though. Like
Oh,
it looks
zero?
nice.
Didn't
Zero
back
jump
bump at
out?
all, wow.
Okay, I'll take that.
Oh,
Bro is chill.
Oh, I do not like when he runs away. Hopefully he
Yeah.
doesn't do the long attack. Of course he does. Of course he does.
that's tough.
Yeah, that is tough.
He was right next to you, too.
Yep, that's actually, I think, when he's most likely to do it, unfortunately.
Oh,
Okay, that's fine, though.
nice.
Got into the final phase, which should be entirely scripted. We buff, we jump at just the right time so that we bait him into doing that move, which we can stagger him, hit him 4 times, use the Tonto, run after him, hit him 1 more time, jump over his attack, do the mortal draw, 1 more should stagger him, and we've got him dead. Boom,
Very
there
nice.
it is. All right, that is our final memory boss. So we really are approaching the end here. We have, I think it's 5 more bosses to clean up that we skipped later. So they are going to fly by. So yeah, definitely make sure to get those donations in for the incentive because we are almost done here.
We are also almost to $150,000 total raise for Doctors Without Borders this event. Chat, I know you want it. Let's get that 150K before we finish this cleanup. And remember to put that towards Quake 64.
All right, so first of our cleanup bosses here is Orin of the Water.
I hate this boss.
She's really, really weird. Hopefully our jump mortal draws will kind of delete her before she can do anything too weird, but
Yeah.
there is no guarantee of that.
At this point, just have so much damage, can just kind of brute force this fight. Yeah,
Yep,
nice phase
there
one.
we go. Hey, we're actually going to use a Tonto and another jump to time our mortal draw right as she becomes vulnerable in the second phase. And then jump one more time.
Nice.
There we go, nice.
All right.
All right, next for our cleanup is going to be another headless that we skipped earlier. One here in the forest. This one we have a unique opener for. I'm going to throw a shuriken at him. It doesn't actually really do any damage, but what it does do... what it does do is it baits him into aggroing onto us early while he's still far away, and hopefully that will mean that he's going to try his ranged attack as we run at him. If he does the ranged attack, it all just misses, and we get to start attacking him for free. So I'll see if I can get it just right. So first we buff up as we head in, and then I'm going to do a jump, a wall jump, and the shuriken. Boom. And we got it. He went for the
Nice.
ranged attack,
Nice.
so I get to just freely circle around him a bit. Not bad.
There's definitely too many headless in this game, if you
Yeah.
ask me.
I got the grab attack for the
Nice,
second
good
phase
bait,
as
yeah.
well. Yep. I just turn around for just a split second to try to get him to do that, and it
Nice,
worked.
very clean
Awesome.
headless.
All right, 3 left. Next one is another drunkard. This one is surrounded by a bunch of monkeys. And so I'm going to try to use the firecrackers to startle the monkeys as at the same time I get the death blow on him, but it can be a little tough.
Death blow from the way on the side.
Ooh,
it's always so
yep,
weird.
yep.
That's
And
fancy.
yeah, you can see like all the monkeys here can really mess things up. And so normally how we get out of fights after this is to homeward bone or to homeward idol out, but the 8-second animation takes too long. So instead, we just do this.
We just die.
Ditch.
Use an item we picked up earlier to just immediately go back.
Well, what a dramatic way to cross the $150,000
Let's
go.
for Doctors Without Borders. Thank you so much, everyone who helped make that happen. And we have also crossed $4,000 total raised out of $15K for that Quake 64 incentive. Chat, I see you coming alive. We've got 2 bosses here plus all the inner bosses. I know you can do it.
All right, so for these last 2 bosses, I want you guys to take a guess. How are we going to take out these last 2 bosses? What do you think?
Maybe we fight him with skill?
Yeah. Any other guesses?
Could there be a jump mortal draw involved?
What? Jump? What do you
That's
mean
crazy.
jump mortal draw?
It's just a guess.
No, absolutely not. Instead, we're going to use Dragon Flash, which does this.
Yes, of course.
Just like that. So basically, the mortal draws don't actually affect the undead enemies very well. You'll see that's why we were actually attacking the headless. But Dragon Flash is an exception to that. Dragon Flash gets the properties of the confetti.
Wow.
And so, yeah, even if we don't have mortal draw, things can go down very quickly as long as we have any combat art to abuse. All right, and then very last one here, coming up on our final one. This one, we have to load,
weird,
deload,
yeah.
and load again because otherwise you can't get an aerial death blow. It's just weird.
Time it right, he'll run out, load him, unload him, and then he'll buff, and when he loads him again, he'll be able to time the falling death blow. Oh,
There it
nice,
is.
gets it. And then time will be on quitting out after this boss.
All right, so this one we do 1 Dragon Flash, 2 Dragon Flash,
and 3 Dragon
there
Flash.
it is.
Yay.
All right, ready on time. Here it comes, and time.
Let's go mid.
Wow, sub
GG's
130.
mid. Yeah.
Very
nice.
Aside from Gunfort, that was a nice run.
That was a great run.
A darn Gunfort. All right, cool. So now, in order to show off the inner bosses, I am going to need to do a little technical thing. I'm going to need to swap over my save for just a second. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. because in order to unlock these inner bosses, you have to not only defeat all the bosses in a single run, you have to do 2 different endings, and you then have to go through some gauntlets. So in order to save us the time of doing all that, which would take another like hour and a half to do a whole nother ending and the gauntlets, instead I'm just gonna load the save here, and 1 second, and start up the game again, and we should have our proper save.
You know, I like that gun format like that. I think it's very representative of this run.
it is.
And in any Sekiro
Sekiro
run.
It humanizes the myth.
Yes. That is pretty much how it is. You can play the bosses as well as you like, but Gunfort is just never gonna cooperate.
Yep.
All right, cool. So loading it up here now. And so for these inner bosses, I am not going to just be using Mortal Draw. Not that it would work that well anyway. They have enough health, they would tank through it. But I'm going to try to show off a little bit more of fighting them how you normally would for this purpose. Not slow. We're still going to use Yash Sugar. I'm still going to use a few Mortal Draws. But hopefully we can see all of their cool new extra moves. So I'm going to start with Inner Genichiro. He always starts with his new move for phase 1. And then in the final phase, I'm going to try to show off the unique change to it as well. But I start with buffing up with our Yash. And he always starts with this move. Boom, Cinema. And from here, I'm gonna fight him a little more normally. The main thing I'm trying to do is not let him get so far away that he starts shooting arrows. So you can see, he really wants to, but if I keep his back up against a wall, we are not gonna have to deal with that. Good first phase. All right, if he's in the corner, he really cannot shoot arrows at us, so this is even better. For this flurry, you actually have to just kind of dodge around it, because if you try to deflect it all, it kind of just doesn't work. Oh, he also got some space on me. He got some arrows in.
Yeah, that move is interesting. It's literally just not deflectable properly.
Yeah.
I swear it's not a skill issue.
You have to like turn sideways in order for your hitboxes to like collide differently to have...
Yeah.
It's weird, it's weird. It's a little too technical to get into in this. Here I'm gonna buff up while facing away, just like I did on the regular Genichiro. And we're hoping to see some lightning once again, especially because the lightning is his cool new move in this phase. Come on, do some lightning.
Kenny.
Here it is, here it is.
There we go.
So if we deflect the lightning, he deflects it back at us, and we have to deflect it a second time. I love seeing that. If we get another lightning, there's also a special skill that you get for defeating him once that lets you deflect it immediately. I'll see if I can get another lightning, but it's a speed run. We got to keep going. Hopefully he'll just do one. All right, one last chance, Genny. Any lightning? Oh, good!
Too good.
Yeah, but he does give you a cool skill that can immediately deflect the lightning and counter his deflection. Didn't quite get to show it off there, but there's our first of 3 inner bosses.
That was cool. It's just Mitch being good at the game.
All right, our second of 3 is Father Owl that we're going to redo. He sometimes doesn't want to show off his new moves, but hopefully we'll get to see a few of them here. The big thing I have to watch out for is in this fight, hesitation is actually not defeat. You have to hesitate on your attacks, because at any time he can just like iframe through them and immediately counterattack you. So I can't just keep attacking like I normally would in the fight. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
There it is. Woo! He's done it again. So I have to always be aware of that move in particular.
Ooh.
Oh, twice in a row again. Whoa!
Oh, the stomp.
I can't see.
Yeah.
I got He definitely got me there. He stuck me in the corner. Yeah. That's payback for what I did to him earlier. So.
I love that move where he throws the firecrackers, but you can thrust through to hit him while also dodging it.
Oh, that was an interesting.
Got stuck on the pillar.
Yeah. Yeah, that one where you thrust through is super fun. Okay, almost got his first phase. Nice. Okay. Second phase, more of the owl attacks. Oh, whoops.
Oh, it's a mortal draw.
That's not mortal draw. Sorry. What?
It looks real cool though.
Yeah,
Hold up real
looks
quick, real
so
quick.
good. Yeah.
I thought that was his move. That he's a new move.
Okay. I have no revives left, so I gotta be really careful here. There's a mortal draw, and there we go.
Good work.
All right, and then the final one is Inner Ishin. He pretty much only has 2 new moves. He has like some slight variations, but hopefully I can show off both of them. He'll always start with one of his new moves, and then the second of his new ones we can try to see on some of his later phases, but he doesn't always do it, so we'll see if we can see them. The first new one that he does is actually like an inner ring and an outer ring, so I'm gonna run out of his inner ring and then back into the outer ring. So, run out of the inner ring, run back in. Okay, and then from here we're pretty much fighting him normally until the second phase.
Nice.
Nice. Okay, now to try to show off the cool move from his second phase, I'm gonna try to get some distance. He's more likely to use it if I have some distance on him. There it is. Jump, you have to do a mid-air deflect. Boom, and then one more.
So cool.
This is really cool. This is definitely one of FromSoft's coolest bosses.
Yeah. Nice. And then I don't have a lot of emblems left, so this third phase could be a little longer, but hopefully we'll get some lightnings. There's a good one.
Are you able to switch to the other lightning?
Swap to the Yeti lightning.
Oh, yeah, I should. Hold on a second.
Do it.
Oh, not just yet. Hold on. I'll swap right now while he's stunned. Now I've got time. Okay, there we go. All right, give me one more. Yes,
Yeah.
so we go. No, he missed. He countered me. But we got it.
All right.
Yay.
Nicely done, Mitch.
All right. And time will be coming up on this final death blow here. And time.
Yay!
There it is.
Very impressive.
Nicely done.
Thank you. So yeah, shout out to the Sekiro speedrunning community, very welcoming community, the very first community that I ever got into when I was speedrunning, and I think they, turned me into the speedrunner I am today, trying to do so many different runs, including get to work on Tuesday morning. Make sure that you don't miss that. And so yeah, shout out to them. Shout out to my couch and commentators for helping me out. It's been so awesome. And I love getting to show off these games at GDQ. And yeah, any more shout outs? Anything you guys got?
It was awesome.
Yeah,
it was really cool. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
A lot of
Mitch and
fun.
I go way back, so it's
Yeah, yeah.
been awesome seeing Mitch's journey as a speedrunner and streamer and content creator. So
Oh yeah, Aggie has
Way to
been
kill
one of
it.
my biggest inspirations. So I'm so glad that to
man.
have him on the
Oh,
couch
man.
and as a friend. And so, but yeah, thank you so much GDQ for putting this event on. Thank you so much for having me. And I think that'll about do it. Thank you all. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.